Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, and in this particular video I'm going to be previewing the Grand National, which looks like a really competitive renewal this year. There's quite a few good horses in this race with some decent chances, and I'm going to give you a few stats and facts along the way to try and help you identify the winner of this race, but it's not an easy race to pick the winner of. If I had to give one good tip to all punters out there, and if you're having a bet for the first time in this race, is to have a few selections up your sleeve, probably maybe 4 horses. I normally back about 4 horses each year. I think it's a good way to at least get your money back and try and do your bet each way, because if it finishes in the first 5 or 6, there'll be a lot of bookmakers paying out those places, and that means that even if your horse doesn't win, you could still end up with a decent profit if you got it at a good each way price. So it's definitely worth doing on the day with a few horses. And I'm going to go through a few stats and facts first before I go through the horses in this year's lineup to try and find the profile of the horse you might want to be backing when it comes to the Grand National. So a normal thing I like to look at really is the statistics of favourites in all these big horse races, and favourites haven't got the most strongest record in this race. Probably 2 favourites you would say have won this race in the last 10 years, and that hasn't been seen for a while. That was with AP McCoy riding for John Joe O'Neill with Don't Push It back in 2010, and also as well there was a horse called Comply or Die back in 2008, which was a joint favourite in the race. So favourites haven't really got a good record in the race. It was one for Arthur, who won the race last year. He wasn't a favourite, but he was very well fancied for the Grand National. Also as well, you've had some 66 to 1 shots, a few 25 to 1 shots, 33 to 1 shots in recent years. So you're probably looking for a bit of an outsider when it does come to the Grand National, but that's what's so hard about it. It's always really hard trying to find that outsider because there's so many horses that maybe have strong claims in this race. And like I said at the top of the show, this is kind of like picking like a needle in a haystack, because horses will be going over the famous fences that they don't go round anywhere else in the country or indeed the world. It's a very unique race, the Grand National. It's the people's race, and it's always one people like to have a bet on. But favourites, if you're having a bet with favourites, I'd really look carefully at the favourite you want to back. All the statistics have to be kind of a tick in the box, in my personal opinion, if it's going to run well. Also, another thing I thought that was definitely worth to note was looking at the weights of the winners of these horses in recent years, because for a lot of people that don't know, the Grand National is a handicap race. It's not maybe the best horses in the national hunt game running in the race, but they're still classy horses, but they're rated very highly. So the horses that are going to be carrying the more weight are going to be rated higher, and the horses carrying the lower weights, kind of like the 10 stones or under 11 stones, are going to be rated lower, and they're carrying less weight to give themselves more of a chance of winning against the higher rated horses who will be carrying the higher weights. And the higher weighted horses in this race have not got a very good record. The average weight seems to be kind of the high 10 stone mark. Anything below 11 stone is always definitely a good positive when you're running in the National, because it means you're going to be receiving less weight, and because it's such a long way round, in theory you should be less tired if you're a horse going around Aintree, and you should hopefully last the 4 miles if your jumping can stand up to the test. So that's another good statistic there. Also as well, another interesting thing to note, when I was looking through the last 10 years of this race, there's only been one Irish winner, and that was a Ruler of the World back in 2016 for Mouse Morris. And even though Ireland have been doing the business at the Cheltenham Festival in recent years, they haven't got a particularly good record of late in recent years, and it's definitely another thing to note. Gordon Elliott has won the race with Silver Birch back in 2007, I believe that was. That was an ex-Paul Nicholls horse, but Willie Mullins has never won the race. Also as well, some top jockeys that are around like Richard Johnson, Tommy Scudamore, Noel Feely, they've never won the race as well. So that's another thing to mention as well. Not always necessarily the big famous names are the ones that win this particular race. So that's another interesting fact there. So that's the kind of thing you might want to be looking for. You might want to be looking for some outsiders, horses that have got a nice low racing weight, and also as well horses that are going to be able to handle conditions conditions. This year the ground probably could be soft, and we haven't had a soft national for quite some time, and that means horses are going to be stretched on their stamina, and you're probably looking for horses that have got proven track record on soft and heavy ground. So that's one thing I would recommend there. So if we're looking at this year's field, I'm going to go through a few of the horses that I fancy in this year's particular Grand National, and probably at the top of the market, or ones nearer the top of the market. My strongest fancy is a horse called Annibale Fly, trained by Anthony Martin, who is Irish incidentally, and Barry Geraghty will probably take the ride on the day because he rode this horse Annibale Fly back at the Cheltenham Gold Cup, which was last month, where it finished a creditable third place. This horse is only 8 years old, and you would probably say out of all the market principles, it's probably the one that's the least exposed and the one that's on an upward curve and is improving. But it hasn't been over the national fences. It's never ran around Aintree before on the Grand National course, so that's going to be an unknown factor. It's currently priced at about 12 to 1 with bookmakers at the moment, owned by JP McManus, who's a very good, powerful horse racing owner. He wears the green and yellow silks, as riders do, to notify that he's the owner of those particular horses. So they're very famous colours, often associated with AP McCoy. So you like to think that this horse would have a very good chance in the race. Also as well, Barry Geraghty has won the race back in 2003 with a horse called Monty's Pass, and I thought 12 to 1 he might not be a bad each way bet. I'll probably be against Black Lion in the race, to be honest, because it has crept up in the weights. It's going to be carrying 11 stone 9 in the race, and it ran over the race last year where it finished in 4th place and was very well fancied on the day for Nigel Twiston-Davies, but it's been a little bit disappointing last time out at Haydock when it was a Grand National trial, and I just thought if the ground was a little bit soft it might not have the stamina to last the whole 4 miles. So that would be my only concern with Black Lion. But at the top of the market, I probably would be going for this particular horse, Annibale Fly. He does carry 11 stone 7, but there have been a few horses that have won in recent years at 11 stone 6 and 11 stone 5, so it can be done. But you'd like to say that maybe that factor could be against it. But I thought if you're looking for a classy horse, he's probably the more reliable and maybe the more solid bet in the race out of all the market principles. However, I'm going to give you a few outsiders that I think have a really good chance. One that has really taken my fancy is a horse called Milansbar for Neil King and Bryony Frost. I thought it'd be a really great story this year if Bryony Frost wins the race. She's had a terrific year. She's won the Badger Ales. She also won the Betfred Classic, which won for Arthur won last year with Milansbar back at Warwick a couple of months ago. So that statistic is good there. She's got a good relationship with the horse. She tends to do well over the longer trips as well. She's had good relationships with Black Horton over 3 miles, so she knows how to run in these longer races. And I thought at a price 33 to 1, if the ground is soft like it's meant to be, this horse could go pretty well, because even though it's never been around Aintree before, the trainer Neil King has said that they've always wanted to have a go at the National with this horse. So I thought 33 to 1 might not be a bad each way bet on the day. Another horse that took my eye was a horse called Regal Encore, which did run in last year's race, finishing, I think it was in around about 8th place in the end, running on through a few beaten horses, trained by Anthony Honeyball, who's had a very good season. Richie McLennan's going to be taking the ride, it's believed, in the JP McManus colours. Won last time we saw it back at Ascot in quite a good race that day in the Swinley Chase. Also as well, it ran a really good race behind Total Recall and Whisper in the Hennessy, or what was known as the Hennessy anyway, back in December at Newbury. So it's got some good form coming into the race, and I thought that one could go well. It's been very well punted in recent weeks, from about 66 to 1 now to a 25 to 1 shot, so that could be a good each way bet there. Also as well, another good each way bet I thought was a horse of Gavin Cromwell's, and Robbie Powers booked for the ride on the day, and that's a horse called Raz de Marie. Won the Welsh Grand National, should stay forever, will love the testing conditions, and that one could go well. Robbie Powers won the race before many moons ago. Also another one I thought was interesting as well, you could have quite a few, like I said, was Chanty Flyer. I tipped up last year 80 to 1 in the National, didn't get round in the end, was pulled up 3/4 of the way round, but it since has improved. It was with Rebecca Curtis last year, moved to Richard Hobson. James Byrne booked to take the ride, who's probably going to be the conditional champion jockey. He's been riding really well this year, and he has been riding on Chanty Flyer, who's got some very good handicap form. Finished second last time out at the Cheltenham Festival behind Kustar Savola, and you'd like to think if his jumping stood up, he would have won that race that day in the Ultima Handicap Chase at Cheltenham. So that's another one maybe to have an each way bet on. But I'm probably against the likes of Total Recall because Willie Mullins has never won the race. Also as well, Tiger Roll isn't for me as well. So there are a few horses there that I think will run well, and also as well a few horses that I think won't run well as well with Tiger Roll, with Total Recall. They don't really have the profile of a national winner, and that's some of the horses that I think are going to run well. If you had to push me on a final selection, I would probably go, my top 3 horses for the national would be Annibale Fly, I would probably go for Milansbar and Regal Encore as my top 3 for the race. Anyway, that's a few feelings I've got about the race. Let us know what horses you fancy for the national. Let us know in the comments box below. If you want any questions answered or what I think of those horses, I will reply to your comments if you do leave some in the comments box below. Also as well, please subscribe to my YouTube channel here at Lucky Loaders 15. That's all I got to say. You can follow me on Twitter as well at Lucky Loaders 15. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.